for today's routine, going to get into a good mix of our holding-based stretches as well as our movement-based stretches. So hopefully you're looking forward to a nice, thorough, full-body stretch. So, like we usually do, if you haven't already, go ahead and stand up, relax the arms at your sides, and we'll slowly move through the shoulders here with our shoulder circles. Taking those shoulders through that full range of motion and trying to limit the movement just through the shoulders and minimize the extra movement through the lower portion of the arm. When you're ready, go the opposite direction. A couple more here. And go ahead and pause. Moving into our back of the shoulder stretch next. So arm across the body and release and switch to the other side. Again, just alternating like so, concentrating on keeping the shoulders rolled back and down as you alternate those arms from one side to the other, maximizing that stretch through the back of the shoulder. Excellent. Couple more with each arm. And we'll go into our movements through the head and neck region. So once you've done an equal number on each side, find that relaxed arm, relaxed shoulder position, and we'll start with just the basic head tip from left to right, keeping the shoulders down towards the floor and just bringing that head and ear directly down to the shoulder, not shoulder up to the ear. Couple more here to each side. And into our neck rock and roll. So again, same shoulder positioning, meaning relax and kind of roll back and down towards the floor. And we'll drop our head, chin to the chest, and then slowly and smoothly rock and roll the head from one side of the body to the other, stopping ourselves in that same ear over the shoulder position like we just did before. A couple more to each side. We're going to move into our first combo today, meaning our standing cats and cows. So we'll do this one together, maybe 3 or 4 times, where we hold each position for about maybe 4 seconds. So join me here, interlace the fingers. We'll start with that horizontal arm reach, pressing the palms forward. And as you do so, reach the shoulders round the back, separating those shoulder blades, and hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Release, bringing yourself back up to that nice tall posture, arms behind the back, and be sure to pull the shoulder blades back as well. And then press the arms down towards the floor as you arch the back for that spinal extension, or as we've been calling it, standing cow. 2, 1, release. And we'll go back to that first one. Horizontal arm reach or standing cat. 4, 3, 2, 1, and release into our standing cow and hold 4, 3, 2, 1, and back to that horizontal arm reach. Again, rounding the back, reaching the shoulders forward. 2, 1, release. Our standing cow, our spinal extension again, pinching the shoulder blades together. 3, 2, 1, and last time here. And hold 4, 3, 2, 1, release. And last time here with our standing cow, find that nice range of motion. 3, 2, 1, release. And find again just that normal standing position. We're going to go back through that back of the shoulder here, but this time as a whole. So your first side, arm across the body, and just simply hold here. And release and switch to the other side. A couple more seconds and we'll move back into the head and neck. Release. All right. Our first one here being the side of the neck stretch. So again, lots of options that you can choose from. The first one just being our basic stretch with the arms at our sides and tipping the head ear to the shoulder and holding. While we hold, again, another option. You can reach up and gently pull the head a little bit further into the stretch if you'd like to. And release. We'll switch to the other side. And again, the other option for our neck stretch is the arm tucked behind the back, just to set the shoulder in a little different position and a little bit of that internal rotation as well, which kind of helps provide a deeper stretch based on where that trapezius muscle connects along kind of that shoulder and upper back region. And release. And last of our neck stretches here, made famous by Isaac Floss over at Rice Creek in his posture breaks, if you've ever done those, our deodorant check stretch. So with this one, arm behind the back, and then as I like to teach it, turning the head away from the bent arm, dropping then the head and chin in towards the body and armpit. And then from here, either holding this position, kind of intentionally reaching the face to the armpit, or with the free hand, reaching up and gently pulling the head closer into the armpit. And release. And same thing on the other side. Arm tucked behind the back. Turn the head away from the bent arm. Drop the head, chin towards the body and armpit. And then if you'd like to, that gentle pull of the head as we target a little bit different area of the trapezius muscle, as well as a deeper lying muscle of the neck, or levator scapulae. Excellent. When you're ready, go ahead and release. Let's real quick here go into the wrists and forearms. So elbows at our sides. We'll start with just our basic wrist circles, navigating through that full circular range of motion, and also including, again, most importantly, that rotation and movement through the forearm. When you're ready, go the opposite direction. Excellent. Basic wrist stretches here. So starting with palm forward, fingers up, or palm forward, fingers down, as we stretch our wrist flexor muscles. So we'll pull the hand in towards the body here. And again, that fingers down position, it tends to be a little more aggressive of a stretch. So a couple options depending on how tight or how intense you would like your stretch to be. Go ahead and release. We'll switch to the other side. You can choose that same hand position, or if you prefer to do the more aggressive one on this side or vice versa, feel free to do so. And release. And the other side of the forearm here. So with this one, letting the hand kind of drop towards the floor. And then from this flexed wrist position, pulling the hand in towards the body. And release. And same thing with the other side. We'll move in then to our side of the torso stretch. And release that forearm stretch. Find that nice standing position once again. And like I said, we're going to tip from side to side here into our side of the torso stretch. So feel free to go right into it, the preferred stretch for yourself, whether it's arms and hands in a comfortable position or that more intense stretch reaching up overhead, which taps into not only that lower portion of the side of the torso, but also up into those muscles along the rib cage just below the armpit. And feel free to mix in either of those options as you'd like to. Again, the arms kind of being below the shoulders tends to be a little bit more localized for that lower side of the torso. Excellent. Couple more here to each side. And come back to that standing position and into our hip circles. So in just a normal stance here, I always like to put my hands on my hip bone just to help feel how my pelvis is tipping and tucking during this circular motion. So go ahead and begin if you haven't already. And like I said, when it comes to this one, it's not just the circles. There is a little bit more of that sticking out of the hips when you're in that kind of back circular motion. And then when you come forward in your circular motion, you kind of squeeze the glutes, tuck the hips a little bit, tuck the tailbone underneath yourself, just to maximize the movement and articulation of the pelvis with this movement or stretch. When you're ready, go the opposite direction. Try to include some of that hip motion, and come to a stop. And we're going to step back into our split stance here for our hip flexor stretch. So whichever side you like to start with, step back into a comfortable split stance with both feet flat on the floor. Squeeze the glutes, and as you do so, tuck the hips up underneath yourself, or as it's technically called, posterior pelvic tilt, meaning kind of that top portion of the pelvis tips back behind you. So however you'd like to think of that, I always generally like to say you're tucking your hips and your tailbone kind of points forward. The tip of your tailbone points forward towards your front foot. So again, as you hold this one, squeezing the glute and maintaining that pelvic tilt the entire time. When you're ready to release, we'll switch to the other side. Again, comfortable split stance, both feet flat on the floor, squeeze the glutes, tuck the tailbone, and hold. And when you're ready, go ahead, release. And that is it for our flex break today. Thanks everyone for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed that movement and holding base routine.